Life is a journey, and every journey has a beginning, a middle, and an end. But have you ever wondered what it would look like to take every step of your journey hand in hand with the Creator of all things? Imagine a life where every decision, every action, every dream, and every challenge is aligned with divine purpose, a life where God is not just an idea or a distant presence, but the foundation, the guide, and the ultimate destination. Start with God, move with God, end with God is not just a statement. It's a philosophy that, if embraced, can transform your life in ways you never thought possible. It's an invitation to shift your perspective from chaos to clarity, from striving to trusting, and from self-reliance to divine partnership. Starting with God means you acknowledge the source of your existence, seeking wisdom and guidance from the one who knows the end from the beginning. Moving with God means you walk in faith, knowing that every step you take is directed by a higher power. And ending with God means you finish your race with the assurance that your life was lived for a greater purpose, leaving behind a legacy that transcends time. This idea is not about religion, it's about alignment. It's about recognizing the ultimate truth that you were created for a purpose. And when you align yourself with God, you unlock your highest potential. Too often, people try to figure everything out on their own. They strive, they plan, and they struggle, only to find themselves burned out and disillusioned. But there is another way, a way of peace, power, and purpose. As we dive deeper into this message, I'll share with you how this principle can change your life, why it's crucial to your success, and the practical steps to live it out. But first, let me ask you this: what if the missing piece to your breakthrough isn't more effort, more knowledge, or more connections, but simply surrendering to God's guidance? What if the life you've always dreamed of is waiting for you on the other side of that surrender? Imagine standing at the edge of a vast, uncharted wilderness. You've got a map in one hand and a compass in the other, but the terrain is unlike anything you've ever seen before. The sky is dark, the path is unclear, and fear begins to creep into your heart. Now imagine someone steps forward, a guide who knows every twist and turn, every challenge, and every shortcut in this wilderness. This guide promises to walk with you, to lead you to safety, and to take you beyond what you could ever achieve on your own. Would you trust them? Or would you insist on trying to navigate the wilderness alone? This is the very choice we face in life every day. The wilderness is your life's journey, filled with uncertainty, challenges, and opportunities. The guide? That's God, the one who created the wilderness and knows the path better than anyone. And the choice? That's yours. Will you start this journey alone, relying on your own limited understanding, or will you invite the Creator to walk with you? Most people hesitate. They think they need to prove themselves, to figure it out alone, to show the world they're strong and capable. But let me tell you a secret: true strength comes from surrender. The greatest victories are won when you stop trying to control everything and start trusting the one who controls it all. What if I told you that your struggles, your frustrations, and even your failures are signs that it's time to stop walking alone? What if the breakthroughs you've been praying for are waiting on one simple decision to start with God, move with God, and end with God? Today I want to take you on a journey. I want to show you how this principle isn't just inspiring words, but a practical, life-changing truth. Stay with me, because by the end of this message you'll see why starting, moving, and ending with God is the key to unlocking the life you were meant to live. Starting with God is not merely a suggestion, it is the most profound step you can take to set the trajectory of your life. When you begin any endeavor by anchoring yourself in prayer and seeking God's wisdom, you are laying a foundation that cannot be shaken. Prayer is not just an act of asking, it is a conversation, a communion, and an alignment with the divine. It is the moment where you step out of your limited understanding and into the infinite wisdom of the one who knows all things. In life, we often rush into decisions, propelled by ambition or urgency. We rely on our intellect, experience, or the advice of others, forgetting that there is a higher perspective available to us. This higher perspective sees not just the beginning but the end, not just the visible but also the hidden. When you start with God, you invite this perspective into your life, allowing His guidance to illuminate the path ahead. Think about the process of building a house. The foundation is the most critical part of the structure. It determines the stability, strength, and longevity of the entire building. Without a solid foundation, the house will crumble when storms come. Similarly, when you begin your endeavors with God, you are building your life on a foundation that is unshakable. It is a foundation of faith, trust, and divine assurance. The storms of life challenges, setbacks, and uncertainties may come, but they will not destroy what is rooted in God. Prayer is the starting point of this foundation. It is not about reciting words or following rituals. It is about opening your heart to God and inviting His presence into your plans. When you pray, you acknowledge that you are not the ultimate authority in your life. You recognize that there is one greater than you who holds the wisdom, strength, and clarity you need. This act of humility is powerful because it shifts the focus from self-reliance to divine dependence. Starting with God also means seeking His wisdom. The wisdom of God is unlike human wisdom. It transcends logic and often defies conventional understanding. There will be times when His guidance may not make sense to the natural mind, but it will lead you to outcomes far beyond what you could achieve on your own. When you seek God's wisdom, you are tapping into the source of all knowledge, understanding, and creativity. This wisdom equips you to make decisions that are not only right but also aligned with your purpose. But seeking God's wisdom is not a passive act. It requires a willingness to listen, to wait, and to trust. In our fast-paced world, waiting on God can feel counterintuitive. We are often tempted to act quickly, to take matters into our own hands. Yet the greatest breakthroughs often come when we pause, pray, and allow God to reveal His plan in His timing. Waiting on God is not about inactivity, it is about active faith, a confidence that He is working behind the scenes even when we cannot see it. Beginning with God also transforms how you perceive challenges. When God is your foundation, you approach obstacles with a different mindset. Instead of seeing them as barriers, you see them as opportunities for growth and divine intervention. You trust that God is working all things together for your good, even when the circumstances seem unfavorable. This perspective brings peace and assurance, enabling you to move forward with confidence. Starting with God does not mean that everything will always go according to your plans. On the contrary, there will be times when His plans diverge from yours. But here lies the beauty: God's plans are always better. They are higher, greater, and more fulfilling than anything you could conceive on your own. When you trust Him from the beginning, you position yourself to receive blessings that exceed your imagination. Starting with God sets the tone for the rest of your journey. It creates a pattern of dependency, where every step you take is guided by His hand. This dependency is not weakness, it is strength. It is the recognition that you are not walking alone, and that the Creator of the universe is actively involved in your life. Imagine embarking on a journey where you have a map, but it's incomplete. You might have an idea of where you want to go, but you lack the details of how to get there. Starting with God is like having the full map revealed, with every twist, turn, and destination clearly marked. It doesn't mean the journey will be free of challenges, but it does mean you will never be lost. When you begin with God, you invite Him to be an active participant in your story. You are no longer the sole architect of your life, you are co-creating with the one who designed you for greatness. This partnership is transformative, turning ordinary efforts into extraordinary outcomes. It is the foundation upon which a life of purpose, peace, and fulfillment is built. So as you face each new day, each new challenge, and each new dream, remember to start with God. Let Him be the first step, the guiding light, and the unwavering foundation of everything you do. Aligning your vision with God's will is not about abandoning your dreams, it's about refining them. It's about recognizing that your life was created with purpose, and the fulfillment of that purpose lies in harmony with the divine plan. Too often people chase ambitions that, while seemingly impressive, leave them feeling empty or dissatisfied. This is because those pursuits, no matter how grand, lack alignment with what they were truly meant to do. When your vision aligns with God's will, however, you step into a flow of grace, where your efforts are amplified, your direction is clear, and your outcomes have lasting significance. At the heart of alignment is surrender, not a surrender of effort, but of ego. It's the willingness to say, "Not my will, but yours be done." This doesn't mean you abandon your desires. Instead, it means inviting God into the process of shaping those desires. The truth is, many of the dreams placed in your heart were planted there by God Himself. They are seeds of divine intention, waiting to be nurtured and brought to life through your faith and action. But for these dreams to fully flourish, they must be cultivated in the soil of God's purpose. Alignment begins with seeking clarity. It requires you to ask, what is God calling me to do in this season of my life? This question shifts your focus from what you want to what He desires for you. And here's the remarkable part: God's desires for you are always greater than your own. They are not limited by fear, doubt, or human reasoning. They are expansive, transformative, and eternal. When you align your vision with His will, you open the door to a life that is not just successful by worldly standards, but deeply meaningful and fulfilling. But how do you align your vision with God's will? It starts with listening. Too often we are so consumed with our plans and aspirations that we forget to pause and listen to the one who holds the blueprint of our lives. Through prayer, meditation, and quiet reflection, you create space to hear His voice. This voice may come as a sense of peace, a sudden insight, or even a redirection of your plans. Pay attention to these moments. They are God's way of guiding you toward alignment. Next, it's essential to examine your motives. Why do you want what you want? Is it to serve your ego or to fulfill a greater purpose? Aligning with God's will often requires a shift in perspective, where the focus moves from self-centered goals to God-centered intentions. This doesn't mean you must abandon personal desires, but it does mean ensuring those desires contribute to something greater than yourself. For example, pursuing a career should not only be about personal success, but also about how that success can be used to uplift others and glorify God. Another critical aspect of alignment is trust. There will be times when God's will may not align with your immediate plans. In such moments, trust becomes essential. Trust that His plans are higher, even when you cannot fully understand them. Trust that delays are not denials, but divine timing at work. Trust that what He withholds is for your protection, and that what He provides is for your ultimate good. Trust transforms what could feel like frustration into faith, allowing you to move forward with confidence, even in uncertainty. Alignment also requires action. Once you've sought clarity, examined your motives, and placed your trust in God, it's time to act. God's will is not a passive force, it requires your participation. When your vision aligns with His will, you will find that the steps you take are met with divine favor. Opportunities arise, resources flow, and doors open that you could never have imagined. This is not to say that the path will always be easy. There will still be challenges, but even in those challenges, you'll sense His presence and guidance. One of the most beautiful outcomes of aligning your vision with God's will is the peace it brings. When you are in alignment, there is a profound sense of assurance that you are exactly where you're meant to be. You no longer feel the need to compare your journey with others or to strive endlessly for validation. Instead, you rest in the knowledge that your life is unfolding according to a divine plan. Aligning your vision with God's will creates a ripple effect. When you live a life aligned with divine purpose, it inspires and impacts those around you. Your actions, decisions, and successes become a testimony of God's power and faithfulness. You show others what is possible when they too choose to align their lives with something greater than themselves. Aligning your vision with God's will is not a sacrifice, it's a gift. It's the realization that true fulfillment comes not from pursuing your plans alone, but from partnering with the Creator of the universe. It's about stepping into the destiny you were created for and living a life that reflects His glory. When your vision aligns with His will, you not only achieve your dreams, you surpass them, entering into a purpose that is eternal, impactful, and uniquely yours. Moving with God means embracing a journey of faith, where trust replaces control and patience becomes your companion. It is a step-by-step process of surrendering your plans, desires, and timelines to a higher purpose. Walking in faith does not mean abandoning effort or sitting idly by. It means actively participating in the unfolding of God's plan while trusting His timing and wisdom. It is about letting go of the need to see every step ahead and relying on the one who knows the end from the beginning. Trusting the process starts with recognizing that life is not a series of random events but a divinely orchestrated sequence where every moment serves a purpose. Often we become impatient, wanting results on our terms and in our time. We struggle to let go of control because we fear uncertainty. But faith invites us to release that fear and embrace a greater truth that God's timing is perfect, even when it feels delayed. When you move with God, you begin to understand that every delay has meaning, every detour has purpose, and every challenge holds a lesson. Trusting the process means shifting your focus from the immediate to the eternal. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening?" you ask, "What am I meant to learn?" This shift in perspective transforms frustration into growth, disappointment into trust, and uncertainty into peace. Letting go of control is one of the most challenging aspects of faith. We are conditioned to believe that success comes from planning, strategizing, and working tirelessly. While effort is essential, there is a difference between diligent work and obsessive control. Moving with God requires you to release the illusion that you must have everything figured out. It's a reminder that you are not navigating life alone. There is a greater hand guiding you, a hand that sees what you cannot. Walking in faith also means accepting that God's ways are higher than ours. His plans often unfold in ways we do not expect, and His timing frequently challenges our patience. But His timing is never late, it is always exact. When you trust the process, you align yourself with divine timing, allowing events to unfold as they are meant to. This alignment creates a sense of peace, even in the midst of uncertainty, because you know that everything is happening according to a perfect plan. Faith is not passive, it requires action. Moving with God involves taking steps forward even when the path is unclear. It means doing what you can with what you have, trusting that God will provide the rest. Sometimes the next step is small and seemingly insignificant, but each step taken in faith brings you closer to the fulfillment of His purpose. It is like walking through a fog. Though you cannot see far ahead, each step reveals the next, and as you move, the path becomes clearer. Trusting the process also involves releasing the need for immediate results. In a world that values instant gratification, waiting can feel like a struggle. But waiting is not wasted time, it is preparation. In the waiting, God is shaping you, refining your character, and equipping you for what lies ahead. He is aligning circumstances, preparing opportunities, and ensuring that you are ready to receive His blessings. When you move with God, you trust that the waiting season has a purpose, and you remain faithful in it. Challenges and setbacks are inevitable on this journey, but they are not indicators of failure. They are opportunities to deepen your trust in God and to grow in resilience. Moving with God means acknowledging that even in difficulty, He is present and working for your good. The storms of life do not mean you have been abandoned. They are moments to lean into His strength and to discover a deeper reliance on Him. When you move with God, you also learn to celebrate the small victories along the way. Faith is not just about the destination, it is about the journey. Every step, no matter how small, is a testament to your trust in Him. Gratitude for the progress you've made creates a sense of joy and keeps you motivated to continue moving forward. Moving with God is an act of surrender and trust. It is a declaration that you believe in His goodness, His faithfulness, and His perfect timing. It is a commitment to walk by faith and not by sight, knowing that He is leading you towards something greater than you could imagine. By trusting the process, you free yourself from the burden of control and open yourself to the peace, joy, and fulfillment that comes from walking in alignment with His will. Each step you take with God is a step closer to your purpose, your growth, and His promises for your life. Trust the process, for it is in this trust that you find strength, assurance, and the beauty of a journey guided by divine hands. Life is full of challenges, some expected and others that catch us completely off guard. In these moments, it's natural to rely on your own strength to push through. However, there comes a time when even your greatest efforts feel insufficient, when the weight of the obstacle seems too heavy to bear. This is where the transformative power of seeking God's strength becomes essential. Instead of depending solely on yourself, you learn to lean on the one who is all-powerful, whose strength is infinite and unfailing. Relying on God's strength does not mean abandoning your own efforts, but recognizing their limitations. It's understanding that you were never meant to carry life's burdens alone. God invites you to cast your cares upon Him, to bring your struggles, fears, and doubts to His feet. In doing so, you access a reservoir of power that is far greater than anything you could muster on your own. His strength doesn't just support you, it empowers you to overcome. When you face challenges, the first step in seeking God's strength is to acknowledge your need for Him. This requires humility, admitting that you cannot do it all on your own. Our culture often celebrates self-reliance and independence, but faith calls you to a higher truth, that your greatest victories come not through striving alone, but through surrendering to God. This surrender is not an act of weakness, it is a profound act of trust. It says, I believe that God is bigger than my challenges, and I trust Him to lead me through them. Prayer becomes a vital tool in this process. When you turn to God in prayer, you invite His presence into your situation. It is not about presenting Him with a list of demands, but about seeking His wisdom, guidance, and strength. Through prayer, you align your heart with His, gaining clarity and peace, even in the midst of difficulty. The act of praying itself is a reminder that you are not alone, that the Creator of the universe is walking with you, offering His strength to sustain you. Scripture is another source of strength. The Bible is filled with promises that assure you of God's faithfulness. Passages like, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, Philippians 4:13, or the Lord is my strength and my shield. Psalm 28:7 remind you that His power is available to you in every circumstance. Meditating on these truths reinforces your faith and gives you the courage to keep moving forward. When you rely on God's strength, you begin to see challenges differently. Instead of viewing them as insurmountable obstacles, you see them as opportunities for growth and transformation. God often uses challenges to refine you, to teach you perseverance, and to deepen your trust in Him. What may seem like a setback is, in His hands, a setup for something greater. By relying on His strength, you shift your perspective, focusing not on the size of the problem, but on the greatness of your God. It's also important to remember that God's strength is made perfect in your weakness. This means that when you feel the most inadequate, He is able to work in and through you in extraordinary ways. Your limitations become a platform for His power. When you stop trying to do everything on your own and allow Him to take control, you open the door for miracles. His strength enables you to do what you could never do alone. Seeking God's strength doesn't eliminate the struggle, but it changes the way you experience it. Instead of being overwhelmed, you find peace in the midst of the storm. Instead of being paralyzed by fear, you move forward with confidence. This is because you know you are not relying on your own finite abilities, but on the limitless power of God. Community is another way God's strength is made available to you. He often uses people to support and encourage you during difficult times. When you share your burdens with trusted friends or family members who share your faith, you allow God's strength to flow through them into your life. They become instruments of His grace, offering wisdom, comfort, and practical help when you need it most. Seeking God's strength is about developing a relationship with Him that sustains you through every season of life. It's about trusting that He is both willing and able to help you, no matter how daunting the challenge. This trust is built over time as you experience His faithfulness again and again. Each victory, no matter how small, becomes a testament to His power and a reminder that you can face whatever comes your way with Him by your side. Life's challenges are inevitable, but they do not have to defeat you. By seeking God's strength, you tap into a source of power that is greater than anything this world can offer. You find the courage to face difficulties, the resilience to endure, and the hope to keep believing. When obstacles arise, let them drive you closer to God, for it is in His strength that you will find the victory. Gratitude is one of the most transformative attitudes you can cultivate on your journey through life. It shifts your perspective from what you lack to what you already have, illuminating the abundance of blessings around you. Gratitude is not simply a response to favorable circumstances, it is a choice, an intentional decision to focus on the goodness of God, even in the midst of challenges. When you stay grateful, you open your heart to receive even more of God's blessings, as gratitude aligns your thoughts and emotions with the abundance He has already provided. Life is full of ups and downs, and it's easy to focus on what's missing or what isn't going as planned. This focus on lack often leads to frustration, anxiety, or even despair. However, gratitude interrupts this cycle. It redirects your attention to the ways in which God has already been faithful in your life. Each breath you take, each sunrise you witness, and each opportunity you encounter is a testament to His goodness. Recognizing these blessings creates a profound sense of contentment and peace. Practicing gratitude begins with awareness. It's about pausing in your day to acknowledge the small and large gifts that fill your life. A kind word from a friend, the beauty of nature, the ability to work and create, all of these are reasons to give thanks. Often these everyday blessings are taken for granted, but when you intentionally reflect on them, you begin to see how richly blessed you truly are. Gratitude awakens you to the miracles woven into your daily life. Beyond just noticing your blessings, gratitude is also about expressing thanks. Whether through prayer, journaling, or verbal acknowledgement, taking the time to thank God for His provision deepens your connection with Him. It's a way of saying, I see your hand in my life, and I trust you. This trust is essential on the journey, as it reminds you that the same God who has provided for you in the past will continue to guide and sustain you in the future. Gratitude is particularly powerful during difficult times. When challenges arise, it's natural to focus on the struggle and feel overwhelmed. Yet even in these moments, there is always something to be thankful for. Perhaps it's the strength to endure, the lessons being learned, or the people who support you. Gratitude during adversity is not about denying the difficulty, but about finding the silver linings and recognizing God's presence in the storm. This shift in focus can transform your experience, replacing despair with hope and fear with faith. One of the most beautiful aspects of gratitude is that it multiplies joy. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you begin to see more and more reasons to give thanks. This positive cycle creates a sense of abundance, as you realize how much you have been given. Gratitude fosters contentment, making you less likely to compare your journey with others or to yearn for what you don't have. Instead, you find fulfillment in what God has already provided. Gratitude also strengthens your relationship with God. When you express thanks, you draw closer to Him, acknowledging His role as the source of all blessings. This deepens your faith as you become more attuned to His presence and provision. Gratitude is an act of worship, a way of honoring God and affirming your trust in His plan. Another remarkable effect of gratitude is its ability to inspire generosity. When you recognize how much you have been blessed, you naturally want to share those blessings with others. Gratitude moves you to give, to serve, and to uplift those around you. It shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance, enabling you to be a channel of God's grace to others. In this way, gratitude not only enriches your own life, but also creates a ripple effect of positivity and blessing. Staying grateful requires consistency. It's easy to be thankful when things are going well, but true gratitude is a discipline that must be practiced daily. One effective way to cultivate this habit is to keep a gratitude journal, where you list 3 things you're thankful for each day. Over time, this practice rewires your mindset, training you to look for the good in every situation, Even on the hardest days, you'll find that there is always something to be grateful for. Gratitude also has a profound impact on your emotional and mental well-being. Studies have shown that those who practice gratitude regularly experience greater happiness, reduced stress, and improved relationships. This is because gratitude shifts your focus from negativity to positivity, fostering a sense of hope and resilience. When you choose to stay grateful, you create an atmosphere of joy and peace in your life. Gratitude is a response to God's unfailing love and faithfulness. It is a declaration that no matter what the journey holds, you trust in His goodness and provision. Staying grateful doesn't mean ignoring challenges. It means recognizing that even in the midst of difficulties, God's blessings abound. When you live with a grateful heart, you not only honor God but also unlock the fullness of life He has promised. Gratitude transforms your journey, turning it into a celebration of His abundant grace. As you journey through life, the way you finish holds profound significance. The end of your journey is not merely about completing tasks or achieving goals. It is about finishing strong with a heart full of purpose, faith, and love. It is about living in such a way that when the final chapter is written, your life stands as a testimony to the goodness of God, a legacy that inspires others to walk in faith and love long after you are gone. To end with God is to ensure that your final steps are guided by the same divine presence that has led you all along. Living with the end in mind does not mean dwelling on mortality, rather. It means embracing each day as an opportunity to reflect God's love and purpose in the world. It is a call to live intentionally, with the understanding that your life is part of a greater story. Every choice, every interaction, every act of kindness contributes to the legacy you leave behind. To end with God is to make every moment count, ensuring that your journey is marked by faithfulness and integrity. One of the most powerful ways to end with God is by staying rooted in your purpose. Purpose is the compass that guides your actions and decisions, helping you remain focused on what truly matters. When you live with purpose, you align your life with God's will, seeking to glorify Him in all that you do. Purpose gives your journey meaning, transforming even mundane tasks into acts of service and worship. It ensures that your life is not only productive but also impactful, leaving a lasting imprint on those around you. Faith is another essential element of finishing strong. Throughout your journey, faith sustains you, giving you the strength to overcome challenges and the courage to keep moving forward. As you near the end, faith takes on an even deeper significance, anchoring you in the hope of God's promises. It reminds you that your life is not defined by earthly achievements, but by your relationship with Him. Faith empowers you to face the unknown with confidence, trusting that God's plan is perfect and that His grace is sufficient. Ending with God also means cultivating a legacy of love. Love is the greatest commandment and the ultimate expression of God's character. When you choose to live a life of love, loving God, loving others, and loving yourself, you reflect His light in the world. Love transcends time and space, leaving an indelible mark on those who experience it. By choosing to love generously, you create a ripple effect that extends far beyond your lifetime, touching hearts and transforming lives. Leaving a legacy of love requires intentionality. It means prioritizing relationships over material possessions, valuing people over achievements, and seeking to uplift rather than compete. It's about making time for those you care about, offering a listening ear, and showing compassion even when it's inconvenient. Acts of love, no matter how small, have the power to change the course of someone's life. When you live with love at the center, you leave a legacy that speaks of God's grace and goodness. Another important aspect of ending with God is embracing the peace that comes from Him. Life's journey is filled with trials, but when you walk with God, you carry His peace with you. This peace is not dependent on circumstances. It is a deep, abiding assurance that He is with you, guiding you and holding you in His hands. As you near the end of your journey, this peace becomes a source of comfort and strength, allowing you to reflect on your life with gratitude rather than regret. Ending with God also means inspiring others to follow Him. Your journey is not just about your own growth and fulfillment, it is about pointing others to the source of true life. By living authentically and faithfully, you become a beacon of hope, showing others what it means to walk with God. Your words, actions, and attitude can plant seeds of faith in the hearts of those around you, encouraging them to seek Him for themselves. As you consider the legacy you want to leave, remember that it is not about perfection but about perseverance. To end with God is to finish the race, no matter how many times you stumble along the way. It is to remain faithful, even when the path is difficult, and to trust in His strength when yours falters. God's grace is sufficient and His love is unwavering. When you lean on Him, He ensures that your journey ends in victory. To end with God is to finish your journey with a heart full of gratitude and a life that glorifies Him. It is to stand at the end, knowing that you have given your best, loved deeply, and walked faithfully. It is to hear the words, "Well done, good and faithful servant. This is the reward of a life lived with purpose, faith, and love." It is the culmination of a journey guided by His hand and sustained by His grace. When you end with God, you leave behind not only a legacy but also a roadmap for others to follow, a life that points to Him. A life centered on God is a life anchored in peace. This peace transcends the circumstances of life and provides stability even in the most turbulent times. When you place your trust and your focus in God, you invite a sense of calm and serenity into your heart, regardless of what is happening around you. This peace is not the absence of trouble or hardship, but rather the presence of a divine assurance that God is in control. It is the deep, unshakable peace that comes from knowing that no matter how stormy life becomes, you are never alone, and you are always held in the hands of a loving and faithful God. In the midst of life's chaos, peace often seems elusive. The world around us constantly bombards us with challenges, uncertainties, and fears. Yet when you choose to center your life on God, you choose to trust in His plan, His timing, and His provision. This trust fosters a sense of inner peace that cannot be shaken by external circumstances. It is a peace that comes from knowing that God is sovereign and that He is working all things together for your good, even when you cannot see how or why. When you make God your source of peace, you learn to surrender your worries and anxieties to Him. You recognize that you do not have to bear the weight of the world on your own shoulders. Instead, you can cast your cares on Him, knowing that He cares for you. This surrender does not mean that you ignore your problems or pretend they don't exist. Rather, it means you acknowledge that God is greater than any challenge you face. You let go of the need to control every outcome and trust that He will guide you through each difficulty with wisdom and grace. The peace that comes from God is not fleeting or conditional. Unlike the temporary calm that might come from external circumstances, God's peace is constant and reliable. It is rooted in His unchanging nature and His promises, which are sure and steadfast. When you center your life on Him, you tap into this eternal peace that never fails, no matter how unpredictable life may be. This peace becomes a refuge, a place of rest and comfort that you can return to again and again. In times of distress, you can quiet your heart, knowing that God is your source of peace and that His presence will calm your soul. This peace also empowers you to respond differently to the stresses and challenges of life. Instead of reacting with anxiety, fear, or frustration, you are able to approach life's difficulties with a sense of calm and confidence. You begin to trust that even in the hardest moments, God's grace is sufficient, and He will provide everything you need to navigate through the storm. This peace enables you to make decisions with clarity, to act with patience, and to carry yourself with the kind of steady confidence that comes from knowing you are grounded in God's love and guidance. Living in the peace of God also invites a deeper connection with Him. The more you seek His presence, the more His peace becomes evident in your life. Prayer, worship, and quiet moments of reflection help you center your thoughts and emotions on Him, grounding you in the reality that He is always near. The more you experience God's peace, the more you recognize its transformative power. You begin to see that true peace is not found in external circumstances, but in the assurance that God is with you, guiding you and providing for you. The peace that comes from God affects every aspect of your life. It influences your relationships, your work, your health, and your outlook on life. As you experience His peace, you become a source of peace to those around you. You are able to extend compassion, kindness, and understanding to others because you are not driven by the same anxieties and stresses that often characterize human interaction. Instead of being overwhelmed by the pressure of life, you are able to bring a sense of calm and clarity to situations, creating an environment where peace can flourish. In addition, the peace of God guards your heart and mind. In times of trouble, it protects you from despair, doubt, and fear. It guards against the negative thoughts that would otherwise take root in your mind, filling you with uncertainty. With God's peace, you are able to hold on to hope, to stay rooted in faith, and to trust in His promises, no matter what challenges you may face. It becomes a shield that protects your spirit, helping you to remain steadfast and unshaken in your trust in God. A life centered on God is a life that is filled with peace, a peace that defies circumstances and overcomes the challenges of life. When you let God be your source of peace, you invite His presence into every aspect of your life. His peace becomes your anchor, your refuge, and your strength. It is the kind of peace that transforms you from the inside out, helping you to navigate life's difficulties with grace, calm, and confidence. No matter what storms come your way, you can rest in the assurance that God's peace will sustain you, guiding you through every trial and bringing you closer to His perfect plan. The ultimate purpose of life is not defined by personal success, material gain, or individual achievements, but by our ability to reflect God's love to others. As beings created in the image of God, our lives are meant to be a living testament to His love, grace, and mercy. Reflecting God's love to others is the truest form of glorifying Him, for in loving others as He has loved us, we fulfill the deepest calling of our hearts and the very reason for our existence. To reflect God's love is to understand that love is not just a feeling but an action. It is the willingness to serve others, to show kindness in the face of unkindness, and to offer compassion even when it is not deserved. Love is not confined to those who love us in return, but extends to all, especially those who may be difficult to love. God's love for us is unconditional, and when we reflect that love, we extend it without strings attached, without expecting anything in return. This unconditional love has the power to change lives, to heal wounds, and to restore broken relationships. When we reflect God's love to others, we carry the essence of His character. God's love is patient, kind, and long-suffering. It does not boast, nor is it proud. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. This is the love that we are called to reflect. It is a love that looks beyond imperfections and sees the potential in others. It is a love that forgives, that offers second chances, and that seeks reconciliation rather than division. To reflect God's love is to be a channel of His grace, allowing His compassion to flow through us and touch the lives of everyone we encounter. Our actions, words, and attitudes are the reflections of God's love in the world. When we choose to show kindness, speak with gentleness, and act with humility, we are revealing a heart that is aligned with God's will. This does not mean that we live perfect lives, but it means that we strive to embody His love in our daily interactions. Even when we are faced with challenges, trials, or difficult people, we have the opportunity to demonstrate God's love through our responses. When we reflect His love, we invite others to see a glimpse of who He is, His grace, His mercy, and His goodness. Through our love, others come to know the God who loves them unconditionally. Reflecting God's love also means being a servant to those around us. True love manifests in serving others selflessly. Jesus Himself demonstrated the ultimate act of love through His life of service. He washed the feet of His disciples, healed the sick, and sacrificed His life for all of humanity. In doing so, He showed us that love is about putting others before ourselves, seeking to lift them up, rather than expecting to be lifted up. When we reflect God's love, we move beyond self-interest and step into the realm of selflessness, offering our time, resources, and energy to care for those in need. Serving others is an expression of love that reflects God's heart and glorifies Him in profound ways. Reflecting God's love requires a heart of humility. It involves recognizing that we are not the source of love, but that it flows through us from God. Love is a gift that we cannot earn, but one that is freely given to us by our Creator. To reflect God's love, we must first receive it in its fullness. This requires humility and openness to God's love and a willingness to allow it to transform us from the inside out. When we allow God's love to fill our hearts, it overflows into the lives of those around us. It becomes a living testimony of His grace, and it glorifies Him by showing others the depth of His love. At the heart of reflecting God's love is the command to love one another. Jesus said, "A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another." John 13:34. This is the essence of God's will for our lives, to love one another as He has loved us. It is in our loving relationships that we glorify God the most. When we love others with a love that mirrors God's love for us, we reflect His character and His heart to the world. This love is transformative. It heals brokenness, brings reconciliation, and creates unity. It is the foundation of all meaningful relationships and the cornerstone of a life that honors God. To reflect God's love is also to live a life of intentionality. We must choose to love others even when it's difficult. It requires effort, sacrifice, and sometimes discomfort, but it is the most powerful way to glorify God. Love requires action. It moves us to serve, to forgive, to encourage, and to uplift. When we reflect God's love, we allow His presence to dwell within us and to guide our actions. Our love becomes a light in a dark world, drawing others to the source of all love, God Himself. The ultimate purpose of life is to glorify God by loving and serving others. Reflecting God's love is not a mere act of kindness, but a way of life, a choice to embody His grace and mercy in every aspect of our being. When we love others as God has loved us, we fulfill the purpose for which we were created and become living testimonies of His love, drawing others to Him through our words, actions, and attitudes. Reflecting God's love is the highest calling we can embrace, for it is through love that we most powerfully reveal God's heart to the world. In conclusion, living a life centered on God, beginning with Him, moving with Him, and ending with Him, is the highest calling we can pursue. It is in aligning our hearts and actions with God's will that we discover true peace, strength, and purpose. By reflecting His love to others, we become vessels of His grace, spreading light and hope in a world that desperately needs it. We are reminded that life is not about our own achievements, but about glorifying God through our faith, trust, and service to others. Thank you for joining me in this exploration of how to live a life with God at the center. May these words inspire and empower you to trust in His guidance, move in His direction, and live in the fullness of His love. Stay blessed, and always remember, when you start with God, move with God, and end with God, you are living a life that reflects His glory and brings true fulfillment. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get real tonight. What if the person you're thinking about day in and day out is also holding their silence? What if they too are doing no contact? How does that make you feel? Confused, frustrated, or maybe liberated? Here's the truth. No contact isn't a game, it's a stage. A stage for reflection, a stage for healing. But the problem is, too many of us treat it like a chess match. We sit there, staring at the board, waiting for their move. But I need you to understand, this isn't about their move, it's about yours. You see, silence isn't just absence, it's presence in another form. Silence is powerful. It's where the mind speaks what the mouth can't. And if he's silent too, that's not your cue to panic, that's your cue to focus. Focus on you. I know what you're thinking, but what if he never breaks the silence? What if he's forgotten about me? Let me tell you something, your worth doesn't shrink in someone else's absence. If he's also holding back, that's not a sign of rejection, that's a sign of respect. Respect for your space, your journey, your growth. But here's the kicker, don't get stuck in the waiting room. You have two choices. You can sit there, replaying every conversation, every mistake, or you can stand up, Look in the mirror and say, I'm not waiting for anyone to validate my value. When two people step back, it's not the distance that defines them, it's what they do with it. Are you growing or are you shrinking? Because while you're sitting there asking, what if he's doing no contact too? You could be building something extraordinary yourself. Patience, my friends, isn't about sitting still. Patience is active. It's working on your mind, your body, your spirit, so that no matter what happens, whether he breaks the silence or stays away, you remain unshaken. So I'll leave you with this: don't ask what he's doing with his silence. Ask what you're doing with yours. Because when the silence breaks in it, will you want to meet them not as the person they left behind, but as the person they can't help but admire? No contact is often misunderstood. People see it as a strategy, a tool to manipulate emotions, or even a punishment for someone who's hurt them. But in its essence, no contact is not about retribution or gamesmanship. It's about growth and clarity for both you and the other person. When approached with the right mindset, it becomes a transformative process, a space where true understanding emerges, not just about the relationship, but about yourself. Imagine a garden overrun with weeds. The plants you want to flourish are choked by the overgrowth, and no amount of watering will bring them back to health unless you first clear the space. This is what no contact does. It clears the emotional clutter. It removes the distractions and external noise that often prevent us from seeing what is truly happening in our relationships and within ourselves. It's a pause, not a punishment. It's a reset, not revenge. But let's be clear, no contact is not easy. It's like holding up a mirror to your soul, forcing you to confront emotions you may have tried to avoid. The silence can feel deafening at first. You might find yourself questioning everything what you said, what they said, what you could have done differently. It's tempting to reach out, to fill the void with some form of connection, even if it's fleeting. But growth happens in the void. Clarity comes when you sit with the discomfort long enough to understand it. During no contact, emotions run high. Regret, anger, sadness, and even longing bubble to the surface. These emotions aren't here to torment you, they're here to teach you. They show you where your wounds are, what triggers you, and what you truly need. They reveal whether your desire to reconnect is rooted in love or simply in fear of being alone. And that's the clarity no contact provides. It forces you to distinguish between what's genuine and what's merely habitual. For the other person, no contact does the same. They too are left with their thoughts and emotions. Without the constant interaction, they are given the space to reflect on their own role in the relationship. Did they take you for granted? Did they fully appreciate what you brought into their life? Or perhaps they come to understand their own limitations, realizing that they couldn't meet your needs despite their best efforts? This mutual space of reflection can be incredibly powerful, even if it feels like nothing is happening on the surface. But here's where no contact becomes a double-edged sword. If used improperly, it can lead to bitterness and misunderstanding. If your intention is to win or make the other person feel guilty, the entire process becomes counterproductive. Growth and clarity can only emerge from authenticity. If you're secretly checking their social media, waiting for them to text, or hoping that your absence will make them chase you, you're still tethered to the relationship in a way that prevents true healing. No contact only works when you let go, not just of the person, but of the outcome. Clarity also doesn't always bring the answers you expect. Sometimes it reveals that the relationship wasn't as strong as you believed. It might show you that the connection was based more on need than on mutual respect and understanding. And that realization can hurt. But it's better to face the truth than to live in a cycle of doubt and insecurity. Clarity is a gift, even when it's painful, because it gives you the freedom to move forward with confidence. Growth, on the other hand, is the reward of enduring the process. When you stop focusing on what the other person is doing or feeling, you have the opportunity to turn inward. You rediscover your passions, your strengths, and your resilience. You learn to enjoy your own company, to find peace in solitude. You realize that your happiness doesn't depend on anyone else. And that's a powerful shift. It's not about becoming indifferent or unfeeling, it's about becoming whole. The beauty of no contact is that it doesn't require the other person's participation. Whether they choose to reflect and grow is up to them. What matters is what you do with the time and space you've been given. It's a chance to break old patterns, to redefine your boundaries, and to envision the kind of relationships you truly want in the future. No contact is an act of self-respect. It says, I value myself enough to step back and assess what's truly best for me. It's not a weapon to hurt someone else, it's a shield to protect your peace and foster your healing. And in doing so, it creates the possibility for something better, whether that's a renewed connection built on stronger foundations or the courage to walk away and embrace new opportunities. So while no contact may feel like a double-edged sword, it's one worth wielding. If used with intention and integrity, it cuts through the confusion, leaving behind a clearer, stronger version of yourself. And that clarity is worth every moment of silence. Silence is often misunderstood. To many, it feels like a void, a hollow space where nothing happens. But silence is far from empty, it is full of potential, a powerful space where emotions settle, thoughts realign, and priorities take shape. Silence speaks in ways that words often cannot, offering clarity and understanding if we are willing to listen. In silence, the mind begins to process what might otherwise be drowned out by noise. We live in a world that values constant communication, where every pause feels uncomfortable and every quiet moment begs to be filled. But when we embrace silence, we create room for reflection. In those moments, our deepest feelings rise to the surface, and we begin to understand them more clearly. It is in silence that we hear the whispers of our own hearts, unfiltered by the expectations and opinions of others. Silence can be intimidating. It feels like a confrontation with oneself, a mirror reflecting back thoughts and emotions we might prefer to ignore. But this confrontation is necessary. Silence allows us to face our fears, our doubts, and our insecurities. It doesn't rush us to fix them. It simply holds space for us to acknowledge their presence. In doing so, we begin to untangle the complexities of our inner world piece by piece. When silence occurs between people, it carries its own weight. It might feel awkward or uncomfortable, especially in relationships where communication is key. Yet, this kind of silence is not necessarily a sign of disconnect. Sometimes it is in the absence of words that we come to understand the depth of our emotions. Silence can convey what words fail to express: grief, love, regret, or hope. It allows emotions to be felt in their rawest form, unadorned by explanations or justifications. In relationships, silence can also be a period of reorganization. When two people take a step back and pause their interactions, it's not always an ending. Sometimes it's a recalibration. It's a chance for each individual to assess their feelings, their needs, and their boundaries. Silence creates the distance needed for self-discovery. It gives each person the opportunity to determine what truly matters, without the pressure of immediate response or resolution. The power of silence lies in its neutrality. It doesn't force conclusions or demand action. It simply exists, waiting for us to fill it with meaning. And that meaning often becomes clearer over time. In the noise of daily life, it's easy to lose sight of what's important. Silence strips away the distractions, leaving us with the essence of our thoughts and emotions. It encourages us to prioritize, to let go of what no longer serves us and focus on what truly matters. In a world obsessed with constant connection, silence can feel like rejection. When someone we care about is silent, we might interpret it as indifference or anger. But silence doesn't always mean absence sometimes. It's a form of presence. It's a way of holding space for emotions that are too complex for words. It's a reminder that not every moment requires action or explanation. Silence can also be a gift to ourselves. It's in those quiet moments that we reconnect with who we are. We remember what we value, what we dream of, and what we stand for. Silence allows us to hear the voice within the one that gets drowned out by the world's demands. It's in silence that we find our strength, our purpose, and our peace. But silence is not just about introspection. It's also about creating space for growth. When we stop talking, we start listening, truly listening, not just to others, but to ourselves and to the world around us. We begin to notice things we might have overlooked: the beauty of a quiet sunrise, the rhythm of our breath, the stillness that brings calm to our chaotic minds. Silence is not something to be feared or avoided. It's a tool, a sanctuary, and a teacher. It challenges us to face ourselves and our truths. It encourages us to slow down, to reflect, and to realign. And when we emerge from silence, we do so with greater clarity, purpose, and strength. So, the next time you encounter silence, resist the urge to fill it. Sit with it. Listen to it. Let it guide you to a deeper understanding of yourself and the world around you. Because silence is never empty, it is full of meaning, waiting to be discovered. Self-worth is the foundation of everything we do, yet it's often the first thing we compromise when faced with rejection, heartbreak, or uncertainty in relationships. It becomes easy to tie our value to someone else's actions, to their approval or attention. But self-worth is non-negotiable. It cannot be dictated by someone else's choices, and it should never be put on hold while you wait for someone else to decide your importance. No contact, at its core, is not about manipulation or strategy. It's not about waiting for someone else to notice your absence or make the next move. It's about reclaiming your power and recognizing that your worth doesn't depend on another person's validation. It's a time to shift the focus away from them and onto yourself, a time to nurture your sense of self-worth and remind yourself of the incredible value you bring to the table. Too often, we give away our power in relationships, subtly or overtly, in the hope of being chosen or loved. We adjust our boundaries, compromise our needs, and silence our instincts, all to maintain a connection that may not be serving us. This is where the erosion of self-worth begins. It happens slowly, almost imperceptibly, until one day we look in the mirror and hardly recognize the person staring back. No contact is an opportunity to reverse that process, to stop the cycle of giving more than we receive, and to rebuild the foundation of who we are. Reclaiming your self-worth starts with understanding that you are enough, just as you are. You don't need someone else's presence to complete you, nor do you need their absence to define you. Your value is inherent, it exists, whether or not anyone else acknowledges it. This realization can be liberating, but it requires effort and intentionality, especially in the silence of no contact. The period of no contact is not passive. It's not about sitting by the phone, hoping they'll call, or refreshing your messages to see if they've reached out. That mindset keeps you tethered to their actions, allowing them to dictate your emotional state. Instead, no contact should be a time of active self-reflection and growth. It's a time to ask yourself important questions. Who am I when I'm not trying to please someone else? What do I want for my future? What makes me happy, independent of anyone else's influence? As you explore these questions, you begin to see that your self-worth is not conditional. It doesn't depend on whether someone chooses to be in your life or not. It doesn't hinge on their opinion of you or their willingness to meet your needs. Your worth is constant, unshakable, and entirely within your control. This is a powerful realization because it shifts the narrative. No longer are you the person waiting on someone else's actions, you become the person deciding your own destiny. Reclaiming your power also means redefining what you will and will not accept in relationships. No contact is a time to establish boundaries, not as a punishment to the other person, but as an act of self-respect. It's a chance to decide what behaviors you're willing to tolerate and what you absolutely will not. This clarity becomes a guiding principle, helping you navigate future interactions with confidence and self-assurance. One of the most transformative aspects of no contact is the way it highlights your inner strength. It's not easy to resist the urge to reach out, to fill the silence with words, or to seek reassurance from someone else. But every day that you choose yourself over the need for external validation, you build resilience. You prove to yourself that you can stand on your own, that you are capable of creating happiness and fulfillment without relying on anyone else. This period of growth doesn't just benefit you, it transforms the energy you bring to all your relationships. When you know your worth, you stop settling for less. You attract people who respect and value you because you respect and value yourself. The energy shifts and suddenly you're no longer chasing love or approval. It comes to you naturally because of the confidence and self-respect you exude. Self-worth is not something you bargain with. It's not something you hand over to someone else hoping they'll protect it for you. It's yours to nurture, to guard, and to cherish. No contact is a way to reclaim that worth, to remind yourself that you are deserving of love, respect, and kindness, not because someone else says so, but because you say so. So as you navigate the silence of no contact, remember this: it's not about waiting for someone else's move. It's about making your own moves, rediscovering your power, and embracing the unshakable truth that your self-worth is, and always will be, non-negotiable. When two people engage in no contact simultaneously, it creates a space not of indifference, but of profound introspection. This phenomenon, often referred to as the mirror effect, serves as a reflection of the dynamic between the individuals. It's not just about absence, it's about mutual self-discovery, where both parties are given the time and silence needed to evaluate what truly matters in their lives and in their relationship. In relationships, emotions can become tangled. Words are exchanged, sometimes hastily or without clarity, and actions may not always align with intentions. When no contact begins, it presses pause on this cycle, offering a rare moment of stillness. If both individuals engage in no contact, it signifies a shared need for space to process these emotions and reflect on their feelings. This mutual silence is not a void, but a fertile ground for growth and clarity. The mirror effect reveals that relationships are not merely about the other person, they are about the interplay between two individuals and their inner worlds. When both people step away, it allows them to view the relationship from a distance, gaining perspective on what was working, what wasn't, and what they truly value. This reflection often highlights the deeper dynamics at play, offering insights that are difficult to see amid constant interaction. No contact creates a paradox. The silence feels heavy, yet it carries the potential for transformation. When both parties choose this path, it often reflects an unspoken agreement, a recognition that clarity cannot emerge from noise. Instead of reacting impulsively, they allow the space for intentional thought. In this quiet, emotions that were once overwhelming begin to settle, and priorities start to realign. For the individuals involved, this time apart is as much about self-discovery as it is about evaluating the relationship. It challenges them to confront their feelings without the influence of the other person. Without daily communication, they are left with their thoughts, their hopes, and their fears. This solitude can be uncomfortable, but it's necessary. It forces them to ask themselves essential questions. What do I want from this relationship? How do I truly feel about the other person? Am I acting out of love, fear, or habit? In this mutual journey of self-discovery, the mirror effect comes into play. As each person reflects on themselves, they inevitably begin to understand the other more deeply. This isn't because they're communicating directly, but because the silence creates a space for empathy. They might consider the other person's perspective, acknowledging their emotions and struggles. This shift often fosters a deeper sense of compassion and understanding, even without words. The mirror effect also underscores the importance of balance in relationships. When two people are both doing no contact, it's a sign that they are giving equal weight to their need for clarity and growth. This balance is crucial because it ensures that neither party is dominating the emotional dynamic. Instead, they are both taking responsibility for their part in the relationship, whether that means recognizing mistakes, reevaluating priorities, or simply acknowledging the need for self-care. This process doesn't guarantee reconciliation, nor does it always lead to closure. The outcome of no contact varies, depending on the individuals and the circumstances. However, what it does guarantee is growth. By stepping away and reflecting on what truly matters, both people emerge with a better understanding of themselves and what they want in a relationship. Whether they come back together or move forward separately, they do so with greater clarity and purpose. The mirror effect also challenges us to recognize that relationships are not just about presence, they're about connection. And connection doesn't always require constant communication. Sometimes the strongest bonds are forged in silence, where mutual respect and understanding take root. When two people simultaneously engage in no contact, it can be a sign of this unspoken connection, a shared acknowledgement that growth and clarity must come first. The mirror effect is a reminder that no contact isn't just an act of withdrawal. It's an act of intention. It reflects a dynamic where both individuals are willing to confront themselves and their feelings honestly. They are not avoiding each other, but creating the space needed to grow, both individually and as potential partners. In this mutual silence, there is an opportunity for transformation. Each person has the chance to rediscover who they are, what they value, and what they truly want. And in doing so, they reflect this same process onto the other, creating a dynamic of mutual self-discovery. Whether this leads them back together or onto separate paths, the journey itself is invaluable. It's a testament to the power of introspection, the strength of silence, and the depth of relationships that go beyond words. Patience is a virtue often praised but seldom practiced, especially in matters of the heart. When emotions run high and uncertainty clouds judgment, the pull toward desperation can feel overwhelming. It's tempting to act, to say something, to do anything that might restore control or elicit a response. But desperation is a thief of clarity, a force that clouds judgment and leads to impulsive decisions that rarely serve our best interests. On the other hand, patience, the ability to wait with grace and trust, has the power to nurture wisdom, offering the clarity needed to discern what's real and what's worth holding on to. Desperation stems from fear of loss, rejection, or the unknown. It manifests as an urgent need to resolve uncertainty, often at the expense of reason and dignity. In moments of desperation, the mind fixates on worst-case scenarios, amplifying anxiety and driving actions that may push others away rather than bring them closer. A rushed message, a pleading call, or a gesture made in haste may feel cathartic in the moment, but it often serves as a bandage for deeper wounds that require introspection and time to heal. Patience, on the other hand, is rooted in trust in oneself, trust in the process, and trust in the timing of life. It requires discipline and self-restraint, qualities that can feel counterintuitive when emotions demand immediate resolution. But patience is not passive, it's an active choice to pause, reflect, and allow time to bring clarity. It's the recognition that answers often emerge not through force, but through stillness, when the noise of desperation has subsided and the truth can rise to the surface. When faced with uncertainty in a relationship or situation, patience creates a space for wisdom to grow. It allows you to step back and observe the bigger picture, free from the haze of heightened emotions. In this space, you can evaluate your feelings, intentions, and boundaries with greater objectivity. Are you acting out of love and respect, or are you driven by fear and insecurity? Are your actions aligned with your values, or are they a reaction to temporary discomfort? These questions cannot be answered in the heat of desperation. They require the cool clarity that only patience can provide. Time, when paired with patience, becomes a powerful ally. It reveals what is real and enduring while stripping away what is fleeting and superficial. In relationships, time can test the strength of connections, showing whether they are built on mutual respect and understanding or on convenience and habit. A bond that endures the test of time is often one worth cherishing, while one that fades in its absence signals that its foundation may not have been as strong as it seemed. Patience also allows for personal growth. When you resist the urge to act out of desperation, you give yourself the opportunity to focus inward, nurturing your sense of self and rediscovering your own strength. You begin to see that your worth is not determined by another person's actions or presence, but by the way you value and care for yourself. This period of growth can be transformative, helping you approach the situation or any future relationships with greater confidence and clarity. Desperation, by contrast, often leads to regret. It compels you to seek validation outside yourself, placing your happiness and sense of worth in someone else's hands. This not only diminishes your power, but can also create an unhealthy dynamic, where your actions are driven by fear rather than authenticity. In the long run, such behavior can erode relationships as it places undue pressure on the other person and undermines the trust and respect that are essential for a healthy connection. Choosing patience over desperation doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending not to care. It means acknowledging your feelings while resisting the urge to act impulsively. It's about finding strength in restraint and trusting that time will bring clarity. This doesn't guarantee the outcome you hope for, but it does ensure that whatever outcome arises will be approached with wisdom and self-respect. Patience teaches you to let go of the need to control everything. It reminds you that some things are beyond your grasp and that forcing outcomes often leads to unintended consequences. By embracing patience, you allow life to unfold naturally, trusting that what is meant for you will come to you in due time. This mindset not only reduces stress, but also fosters a sense of peace, as you learn to let go of what you cannot change and focus on what you can. Patience nurtures wisdom, offering the clarity needed to make decisions that align with your values and long-term happiness. It helps you distinguish between what is worth waiting for and what is better left behind. By choosing patience over desperation, you reclaim your power, honor your self-worth, and allow time to reveal the truth. And in that truth, you find the strength to move forward with grace, no matter the outcome. When faced with the uncertainty of no contact, it's easy to spiral into questions about what the other person is doing, feeling, or thinking. Are they missing you? Are they also choosing no contact as a strategy, or is it indifference? But in truth, these questions distract from the one that truly matters. What are you doing with your time, energy, and life? Shifting focus from their power to yours isn't just a mindset shift, it's a declaration of independence, a reclaiming of the energy you've been giving away. At its core, the decision to focus on your power begins with recognizing where your attention is going. Every time you dwell on what the other person might be doing, you're handing over your energy to a situation you cannot control. You're giving their actions or lack of them more influence over your life than they deserve. But your power lies in what you can control: your thoughts, your choices, and the way you spend your days. By redirecting your focus inward, you reclaim that energy and reinvest it where it can grow and flourish. This isn't about pretending you don't care or dismissing your feelings. Acknowledge them. Grief, confusion, or longing are all valid. But dwelling on the other person's potential actions keeps you stuck in a cycle of speculation. It prevents you from seeing the opportunities that exist in the present moment. Every moment spent wondering about them is a moment not spent building your life, nurturing your growth, or exploring your passions. It's a trade-off, and the cost is often higher than you realize. Focusing on your power also means taking responsibility for your narrative. Instead of framing this period as a waiting game to see what they'll do, see it as a chapter in your own story, a chapter where you rediscover your strength and redefine what matters to you. What are your goals? What dreams have you put on hold while pouring energy into the relationship? This is the time to revisit those dreams, to channel your energy into pursuits that ignite your passion and bring you joy. The more you invest in yourself, the more you grow, and that growth becomes its own reward. Another critical aspect of reclaiming your power is recognizing your worth. Your value isn't determined by someone else's actions or absence. It's rooted in who you are, in the unique qualities you bring to the world. When you focus on their power, whether they're reaching out, thinking of you, or staying silent, you're placing your self-worth in their hands. But your worth isn't negotiable, and it isn't something that fluctuates based on someone else's behavior. By focusing on yourself, you reaffirm that truth every day. This shift in focus also allows you to break free from the narrative of lack. When you're fixated on them, it's easy to feel like something is missing, like their presence is the key to your happiness. But when you redirect your energy inward, you begin to see the abundance in your own life, the friends who uplift you, the hobbies that bring you peace, the goals that excite you. You realize that your life is rich and full, not because of someone else, but because of who you are and the effort you put into living authentically. Focusing on your power also sets a tone for future interactions, whether with this person or someone new. When you stand rooted in your own strength, you approach relationships from a place of confidence, not neediness. You're no longer seeking validation or reassurance because you found it within yourself. This shift not only benefits you, but also changes the dynamic of any relationship you enter. You're not there to be completed, you're there to share your completeness. This period of no contact is a mirror, reflecting back to you the areas where you've perhaps given too much or lost sight of yourself. Use this time wisely. Develop routines that nourish your body and mind. Explore interests that expand your horizons. Surround yourself with people and experiences that remind you of your vibrancy. The more you focus on your own growth, the less their actions or inactions will hold sway over you. The question isn't about whether they're doing no contact too. That's their journey, their choice, and their process to navigate. The real question is what you're doing with the gift of this time. Are you using it to dwell in uncertainty, or are you seizing it as an opportunity to rise stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled? The choice is yours, and it's a powerful one. By focusing on your power, not theirs, you take the reins of your life, ensuring that your energy, time, and effort are devoted to the one person you can always count on, yourself. In the journey of navigating no contact, the greatest revelation lies not in what the other person is doing, but in how you choose to respond. This period is not a time to lose yourself in speculation or desperation, but a rare and valuable opportunity to rediscover your strength, reclaim your energy, and refocus on what truly matters: your growth, your self-worth, and your life. By shifting the narrative from what they're doing to how you're evolving, you transform uncertainty into empowerment and waiting into action. Remember, your worth is not defined by someone else's actions, but by the love, respect, and effort you pour into yourself. Use this time to align with your values, embrace your individuality, and build a life so fulfilling that it reflects the power you've always had within you. Thank you for taking this moment to focus on your growth and allowing these words to be a part of your journey. Keep moving forward with strength and grace. You've got this. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about life. It's not about chasing, begging, or pleading. It's about knowing who you are and standing in that truth. Too often we're waiting for a sign, a call, or some validation to remind us we're enough. But here's the truth: you've been enough all along. The moment you understand your worth, you shift the balance of power. People are drawn to energy that's steady, confident, and self-assured. So stop second-guessing yourself. Stop replaying every conversation in your head, wondering if you said the wrong thing or if you could have done more. Because if you're sitting in that space, you're giving away your power. Here's what you do: step back. Not out of anger, not out of spite, but out of respect for yourself. Silence is not weakness, it's strength. It's a statement that says, I'm good whether you see my value or not. That's not arrogance, that's alignment. Shift your focus inward. Invest that energy in yourself. Read that book, take that class, or go for that walk. Let them see a version of you they can't forget, a version that doesn't just exist for their validation but thrives on its own. Faith is the secret ingredient. Faith in yourself, in the timing of life, and in the bigger picture. When you let go of the need to control how it happens, you create the space for it to happen naturally. Act as if you've already won. Carry yourself with the assurance that the call is coming, that the connection is real, and that you are worthy of it all. Because you are. When you operate like this, they'll feel your energy shift. And trust me, that phone will ring. Why? Because you stopped chasing, you stopped waiting, and in doing so, you became irresistible. Understanding your worth is the cornerstone of building the life you desire. It's not just a matter of believing that you are valuable, it's about truly recognizing the power and significance you bring to every room, every interaction, and every moment. When you understand your worth, you don't chase things that are not meant for you, and you certainly don't settle for less than what you deserve. You stand firm in the knowledge that you are enough, and in doing so, you unlock doors that were once closed. First, let's talk about confidence. Confidence isn't arrogance. It's not about putting others down or flaunting superiority. It's about a quiet assurance in who you are and what you can bring to the table. Confidence is magnetic. When you walk into a room with a clear sense of self, people are drawn to that energy. They may not even know why, but they will want to be around you, to learn from you, to collaborate with you. This magnetism doesn't come from external validation. It's rooted in the inner, knowing that you have something of value to offer. This is where many people fall short. They get caught up in seeking approval from others, waiting for the nod, the compliment, the recognition from someone else before they allow themselves to feel worthy. The truth is, you don't need anyone's permission to feel good about who you are. Your worth doesn't fluctuate based on what others think of you. It doesn't rise and fall with the opinions of the people around you. It is constant. It's as steady as the air you breathe. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. You don't need to show off or over-explain your value. It speaks for itself. The most powerful thing you can do is to start respecting yourself, setting boundaries, and refusing to accept anything less than what you deserve. This doesn't mean being demanding or unrealistic. It means understanding that you are worthy of love, respect, opportunities, and success simply because you exist. When you recognize this truth, you will no longer settle for anything less. You won't entertain relationships, jobs, or situations that don't reflect your value. Your energy becomes selective. It's not about exclusion, it's about aligning with people and circumstances that honor who you are. Recognizing your worth also means owning your strengths and acknowledging your potential. Everyone has a unique set of talents, experiences, and perspectives that are needed in the world. Maybe you're an incredible communicator, an excellent problem solver, or a natural leader. Maybe you have a quiet strength that helps others feel safe and supported. Whatever it is, you must stop minimizing your gifts. The world needs them, and you need to recognize the impact they can have. When you understand your worth, you stop looking for external validation to fill the gaps within yourself. You stop waiting for others to tell you that you're good enough, that you deserve success, that you belong. You already know this, you've already internalized it. This is the foundation upon which confidence is built. Confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about being comfortable with who you are right now, flaws and all. The more you own your worth, the more that confidence will radiate outward, impacting everyone around you. Understanding your worth is also about accepting that you deserve to be treated well. It's about knowing that you're not here to play small, to shrink, or to apologize for your presence. You are not a placeholder in someone else's life. You are a powerful force with your own path, purpose, and value. When you truly recognize your worth, you make choices that align with the life you want to create, not the life others try to impose upon you. The reality is this: the moment you understand your worth, you start attracting the right people, opportunities, and experiences into your life. Your worth doesn't have to be proven through effort, hustle, or self-sacrifice. It's there, it's always been there. And once you recognize it, the world around you will begin to reflect that truth back to you in ways you never imagined. Confidence doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need to convince. It simply radiates, and in that radiance, it becomes impossible for anyone or anything to ignore your power and value. Silence has an incredible power that many people fail to fully grasp. It's not about being passive or retreating into a shell. It's about deliberately choosing to withhold your energy, to pull back from a situation and let your actions or lack thereof speak volumes. In a world that often values noise, constant communication, and external validation, silence is an underappreciated but deeply impactful tool. There are moments in life where saying nothing at all can convey more than the most eloquent words ever could. Think about the times when you've been in a heated conversation, trying to make your point, but it feels like your words are falling on deaf ears. No matter how hard you try, no one seems to hear you. That's when silence becomes your most powerful ally. Sometimes the best response is no response. Instead of continuing to explain yourself or seek validation, you allow the situation to breathe without further interference. In those moments, your silence doesn't signify weakness or defeat, it signifies strength and control. You're no longer desperately chasing after approval or understanding from others. You're allowing them the space to process things on their own. Pulling back your energy is a subtle form of asserting boundaries. It's a statement that says, I will not waste my time chasing after something that isn't reciprocating the energy I'm putting out. In relationships, whether personal or professional, there are times when you give more than you receive, and that imbalance can drain you. But when you choose silence, you are reclaiming your energy. You are giving yourself the time and space to focus on what truly matters to you, rather than continuing to expend yourself in a one-sided dynamic. The act of pulling back is not about playing games or trying to manipulate the situation. It's not about forcing someone to notice you or make a move. It's about choosing your own peace over the chaos that may be surrounding you. When you withhold your energy in this way, you are communicating without saying a word that you value yourself enough to not chase after what's not meant for you. You are telling the universe, I am whole on my own. I do not need to exhaust myself to earn love, respect, or attention. Silence also has a way of highlighting the truth. When you stop speaking, you stop influencing the narrative. You give others the opportunity to reveal their true intentions and feelings, because they no longer have your words to hold on to. In the absence of your voice, their actions or lack thereof will speak louder than anything they could say. People often reveal more when they are not being prompted, when there is no pressure to perform or meet expectations. When you pull back, you allow space for authenticity to emerge. In the realm of communication, words are often seen as the primary tool for connection. But consider this: communication is not just about what is said, it's about the energy that is exchanged. Silence is a powerful form of communication because it carries weight. It forces both parties to confront what is unsaid, to reflect on what is being left out of the conversation. It challenges people to engage with the essence of the situation, rather than getting lost in the noise of superficial exchanges. Choosing silence, especially in moments of tension or uncertainty, can be a form of self-preservation. It prevents you from saying things you might later regret, and it gives you time to gather your thoughts and emotions. In moments where emotions are running high, words can easily become weapons. But silence offers a cooling period, a way to step back from the heat and reflect before reacting. It allows you to regain control of your own feelings, and in turn, it allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Silence speaks louder than words because it embodies strength, clarity, and self-respect. It's an intentional decision to preserve your peace and to set boundaries. When you choose silence, you choose yourself, and that is a message that cannot be ignored. Reclaiming your power is about taking back control over your life, your emotions, and your energy. It's about recognizing that you are not at the mercy of external circumstances or the approval of others. The power to shape your reality, to determine your worth, and to create the life you desire lies within you. Yet too often, people find themselves waiting for something or someone to change before they can take the next step in their lives. Waiting by the phone, hoping for a call, a text, or some form of validation is a common practice many unknowingly engage in. But this waiting is a trap, one that keeps you stagnant and disconnected from your true potential. The moment you stop waiting for the outside world to tell you what's next, you unlock the freedom to move forward with your own purpose. When you are constantly looking outward, whether that be for affirmation, love, or recognition, you relinquish control over your own happiness and well-being. You become a passive observer, hoping that others will validate your existence or give you the answers you need. But real power comes when you shift your focus inward. When you stop waiting for someone else to tell you how worthy you are, and instead you remind yourself of your inherent value. The ability to generate happiness, to cultivate joy, and to pursue growth is entirely in your hands. When you realize this, you begin to reclaim your personal power. Prioritizing your own growth is a vital part of reclaiming your power. Growth isn't something that happens by accident or when circumstances are just right. It's a conscious decision, a daily commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. When you make growth a priority, you stop waiting for external factors to change. You begin to take control over what you can change: your mindset, your habits, and your environment. You invest in yourself, knowing that your own development is the most important thing you can focus on. Growth comes in many forms: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. It's not about achieving perfection, it's about progress. It's about learning, adapting, and continuing to move forward, no matter what life throws your way. Shifting your focus inward also means setting boundaries with the world around you. It means realizing that you do not need to give your time, energy, or attention to things that drain you or prevent you from moving forward. Too often, people become entangled in situations that don't serve their highest good, whether that be toxic relationships, unfulfilling jobs, or unhealthy habits. Reclaiming your power means letting go of what no longer serves you and consciously choosing what you allow into your life. You are not obligated to maintain relationships or commitments that leave you feeling exhausted, unappreciated, or undervalued. When you reclaim your power, you make decisions that honor your worth and protect your peace. Energetic attraction is the understanding that the universe responds to the energy you emit. What you attract into your life is not determined by how hard you chase after something, but by how in tune you are with your own essence. When you align with your true self, your desires, your values, and your purpose, you naturally draw to you the things, people, and opportunities that are meant for you. This is the essence of energetic attraction, recognizing that the right things for you are not a matter of chasing or forcing. They come naturally when you're in harmony with your own energy. The concept of chasing something implies desperation, a sense of lack, or a belief that something is out of reach. People often chase after love, success, recognition, or material possessions, thinking that if they just try hard enough, they'll obtain what they want. However, when you are constantly chasing, you're sending out a signal of need, of wanting, and that energy is one of lack. What you desire is not a reflection of scarcity, it is a reflection of abundance. And abundance is not something you need to chase after, it is something that aligns with your own frequency. When you shift from the mindset of chasing to that of alignment, you start to invite what is meant for you with ease. The law of attraction teaches that like attracts like. This means that the energy you put out into the world will attract similar energy back to you. When you are aligned with your true self, you radiate a certain energy that resonates with what you desire. If you are focused on living your best life, being authentic, and staying true to your values, you naturally attract people who align with that same energy. Whether it's love, friendship, opportunities, or success, what's meant for you will show up when you stop chasing and begin to align with the energy of your desires. You may find that as you let go of the need to chase, you experience a sense of peace. This is because you are no longer attached to outcomes. Instead, you are open to receiving whatever the universe brings, knowing that everything that comes into your life is either meant for you or teaching you something important. The moment you stop chasing, you create space for what's truly meant to be yours to come in naturally. You trust that the universe has a way of working things out that's far beyond your understanding, and you allow that process to unfold. Energetic attraction involves being patient. It's about trusting the timing of your life and understanding that things will come to you when you are truly ready for them. When you align with your desires, you stop rushing, pushing, or forcing things to happen. Instead, you trust the process, knowing that what's meant for you will come at the right time, in the right way, and in the right form. Energetic attraction is the art of allowing what's meant for you to flow into your life naturally. It's about shifting from a mindset of chasing to one of alignment. When you live authentically, trust in yourself, and stay connected to your true essence, everything you desire will find its way to you. It's not a matter of chasing after things, it's a matter of being in the right energy and allowing the universe to match that frequency with the things, people, and experiences you are destined to have. Faith in the outcome is the deep understanding that everything unfolds in perfect timing, and that the process is just as important as the destination. It's the belief that what's meant for you will come to you when you are ready to receive it, and that no amount of worry, stress, or impatience will accelerate that process. Trusting the process is not about having control over every detail or outcome, but about surrendering to the flow of life, knowing that the universe has a way of guiding you exactly where you need to be. It's about believing that if something is meant to be, it will manifest in your life, often in ways that you may not yet fully understand. In a world that constantly emphasizes action, productivity, and the need to control outcomes, having faith in the process can feel counterintuitive. We're often taught that success requires constant striving and effort. We're told to hustle, push harder, and never give up. While determination and hard work are important, they must be balanced with the understanding that there are things outside of your control, things that cannot be rushed or forced. True faith in the outcome comes from the realization that you are not alone in this journey, and that there is a greater force at play guiding you toward what's meant to be. Believing that the call will come, whether it's an opportunity, a relationship, or a breakthrough, means that you trust in the divine timing of your life. It means that you no longer need to chase or grasp at things. Instead, you align yourself with the belief that what's meant for you will find its way to you. It's about releasing any need to constantly check your phone, email, or inbox for a sign that things are moving in the right direction. When you trust in the outcome, you understand that the right people, opportunities, and experiences will show up at exactly the right time. The key is to trust the waiting period without losing hope or faith. Trusting the process requires patience. It's easy to become frustrated or discouraged when things don't seem to be moving as quickly as you would like. But growth and progress often happen behind the scenes in ways that you cannot always see or comprehend. The time spent in waiting is not wasted. It's a time of preparation, learning, and building inner strength. Just as a seed takes time to grow into a tree, your dreams and desires need time to come to fruition. The process of waiting is not a sign of stagnation, it's a necessary part of your journey. Faith in the outcome is also about accepting uncertainty. Life is full of unknowns, and sometimes the path forward is unclear. However, by having faith, you relinquish the need for certainty and embrace the unknown with trust. You stop stressing about how things will unfold and begin to focus on the present moment. When you trust the process, you release your attachment to the outcome and allow life to surprise you. You recognize that things may not always go according to your plans, but that doesn't mean the result won't be even better than you imagined. Furthermore, faith in the outcome is the understanding that rejection and setbacks are part of the journey. Sometimes what you think you want is not what you actually need, and the universe has a way of redirecting you towards something even greater. When you trust the process, you accept that delays or rejections are simply stepping stones, not roadblocks. They are opportunities for growth, redirection, and learning. Every no takes you one step closer to the right yes. When you trust that everything is working out for your highest good, you are able to move through setbacks with grace and resilience. Another crucial element of having faith in the outcome is believing in your own worth and abilities. Trusting the process requires you to trust yourself. It means that you believe you are deserving of success, love, and all the good things that are coming your way. Faith in the outcome is a reflection of self-belief. You trust that the right opportunities will come to you because you are ready for them, and you are capable of handling whatever comes next. Faith in the outcome is about surrendering to the flow of life and trusting that things are unfolding as they should. It's about believing that if something is meant for you, it will come to you in its own time, in its own way. The key is to remain patient, stay aligned with your vision, and trust the process, knowing that every step, every pause, and every delay is an essential part of your journey. The call will come. You just have to trust that when the time is right, it will be exactly what you need. To act as if you've already won is to embody the energy of success, abundance, and fulfillment even before the tangible results show up in your life. It's about walking through the world with the confidence and self-assurance that what you desire is already on its way to you. This mindset goes beyond wishful thinking. It's a powerful shift in perspective that aligns your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the reality you are manifesting. When you carry yourself as if you've already achieved your goals, you signal to the universe that you are ready, deserving, and open to receiving everything that's meant for you. The first step in acting as if you've already won is to recognize the importance of self-belief. It's not enough to merely hope for success or wish that things will get better. True transformation begins with the belief that you are worthy of everything you desire. This belief isn't based on external validation or circumstances. It comes from within. When you know in your heart that you deserve what you're seeking, you naturally start to exude an energy of confidence and assurance. You carry yourself in a way that reflects this inner knowing, regardless of where you are in your journey. People will begin to notice your presence, your calmness, and your poise, and they will be drawn to your energy. This sense of assurance comes from living with the mindset that your desires are already fulfilled. Imagine what it would feel like to already have the connection, career, or opportunity that you seek. How would you walk? What would your posture be like? How would you interact with others? When you begin to adopt these behaviors, carrying yourself with the confidence and certainty that your desires are already yours, you begin to change not just how you present yourself to the world, but also how the world responds to you. Acting as if you've already won aligns you with the vibration of your desires, drawing those things into your life faster. Carrying yourself with this assurance also means taking inspired action. It's not about sitting back and waiting for things to fall into your lap. It's about moving through life with purpose, knowing that the right people, opportunities, and circumstances will align with your efforts. When you act as if you've already won, you make decisions and take actions as though success is inevitable. You no longer second-guess yourself or hesitate because you know that what you desire is already within reach. This boldness in action creates momentum and attracts the people and opportunities that resonate with your energy. Acting as if you've already won also creates a ripple effect in your relationships. When you walk through life with assurance, others are drawn to your energy. People are naturally attracted to those who exude confidence, self-love, and authenticity. Your interactions become more aligned, and you begin to attract individuals who share your vision, values, and energy. Your relationships deepen, and your connections become more meaningful because you are not seeking validation or approval from others. You are whole and complete in yourself. And this sense of self-assurance creates a magnetic energy that draws like-minded people into your life. Acting as if you've already won is about embodying the belief that what you want is already yours. It's not about pretending or faking it, but about stepping into the energy of already having what you desire. When you carry yourself with this level of assurance, you align your thoughts, feelings, and actions with the reality you wish to create. You become a magnet for everything you want, because you are already vibrating at the frequency of your desires. The more you act as if you've already won, the more you begin to see your desires manifest in the world around you. In conclusion, carrying yourself with the assurance that your desires are already fulfilled is a powerful shift that transforms not only how you present yourself, but also how the universe responds to you. By acting as if you've already won, you align your energy with success, confidence, and abundance, attracting the right people, opportunities, and circumstances into your life. This mindset allows you to stay grounded in your vision, trust the process, and take inspired action, all while maintaining peace and patience as you wait for the world to match your internal reality. Remember, true transformation begins within, and when you embody the belief that what you desire is already yours, you unlock the power to manifest it into your life. Thank you for joining me today and taking the time to listen. Keep embodying the assurance of your success and watch how your life begins to change in ways you never thought possible. Stay confident, stay aligned, and trust in your journey.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the dawn of a new year approaches, there is one question you must ask yourself: what is holding me back? Most people will point to external circumstances, lack of time, resources, or opportunity. But let me tell you this: the greatest obstacle in your life is not out there, it's within you. Fear is the invisible chain that keeps you tied to mediocrity. It whispers that you are not enough, that the world is too big, and that your dreams are too far-fetched. But let me remind you, fear is a liar. It exists only in your mind, and it grows stronger the more you believe in it. If you want 2025 to be your year, you must confront this truth: you are the creator of your reality. What you allow in your mind becomes the life you live. If you let fear occupy your thoughts, it will build walls around your potential. But if you dare to believe in your vision, those walls will crumble. Let us go deeper. How does fear manifest? It shows up as doubt. You doubt your abilities, your worth, and your power to change. But doubt is the enemy of creation. To manifest the life you desire, you must replace doubt with faith in your vision, faith in the unseen, and most importantly, faith in yourself. Understand this: everything you need is already within you. You don't need permission from the world to succeed. The only permission you need is from yourself. Give yourself that gift today. Now let's talk about the power of your imagination. Whatever you vividly imagine and believe in becomes your reality. When you close your eyes and see yourself living your dream, feeling it with every fiber of your being, you set into motion the forces that bring it to life. So what will you imagine for 2025? Will you see yourself as someone who hesitates, or will you see yourself as someone who takes bold steps forward? The choice is yours. Do not let fear, doubt, or hesitation hold you back. The power is in your hands to create a year that reflects the greatness within you. The world is not waiting to give you a chance. It's waiting for you to claim what is already yours. The world you see is a reflection of the story you tell yourself. This truth is both simple and profound. If you perceive the world as hostile, full of obstacles, and lacking in opportunity, you will live in a reality that echoes those beliefs. But if you view life as abundant, full of possibility, and unfolding in your favor, that is the reality you will experience. This is not just a philosophical notion, it is the key to transforming your life. Your perception shapes your reality. Perception is more than just the way you interpret events, it is the lens through which you experience every aspect of your existence. The mind operates like a mirror, reflecting back the images, emotions, and beliefs you consistently hold within. Think of it this way: your thoughts are seeds, and your mind is fertile ground. Whatever seeds you plant, whether they are of abundance or lack, joy or despair, will grow and shape the landscape of your life. If you believe the world is against you, your mind will find evidence to support that belief, even in neutral circumstances. On the other hand, if you believe the universe is conspiring for your good, you will begin to see opportunities where others see roadblocks. The power of perception lies in its ability to dictate your responses. Two people can experience the same event, yet interpret it in entirely different ways. One sees failure and stops trying, the other sees a lesson and grows stronger. It is not the event that defines them, but the story they tell about it. This is why shifting your inner narrative is so crucial. The story you tell yourself about who you are, what you are capable of, and what the world is like will become the foundation of your reality. Changing your perception requires an intentional effort to rewrite the script running in your mind. For many, this script has been shaped by past experiences, societal expectations, and inherited beliefs. These narratives often operate subconsciously, influencing decisions, actions, and emotions without your awareness. For example, if you've been told that success is reserved for a select few, you might unconsciously limit yourself from pursuing your dreams. But once you recognize that this belief is not a universal truth, you gain the power to replace it with a new narrative, one that serves you rather than hinders you. To shift your perception, start by becoming aware of the stories you tell yourself. Pay attention to the thoughts that arise when you face challenges or consider new opportunities. Are they empowering, or do they reinforce fear and doubt? Awareness is the first step in breaking free from limiting beliefs. Once you've identified the stories that no longer serve you, begin to question them. Ask yourself, is this belief absolutely true? More often than not, you will find that these beliefs are based on assumptions rather than facts. As you challenge old narratives, replace them with new ones that align with the reality you want to create. If you've been telling yourself that you're not good enough, start affirming your worth and capabilities. If you've been focusing on scarcity, shift your attention to the abundance around you, no matter how small it may seem at first. This process is not about ignoring reality, but about choosing to focus on possibilities rather than limitations. Visualization is a powerful tool for reshaping your perception. When you close your eyes and imagine the life you desire, you activate the creative power of your mind. The more vividly you can see and feel this new reality, the more your mind begins to accept it as true. This is because your subconscious cannot distinguish between imagination and actual experience. By consistently visualizing your desired outcome, you train your mind to seek out opportunities and solutions that align with your vision. Another essential aspect of shifting your perception is gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, creating a sense of abundance and contentment. When you approach life with gratitude, you begin to see blessings in places you once overlooked. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges, but rather recognizing that even difficulties carry lessons and opportunities for growth. Gratitude transforms your perception of the present moment, making it a fertile ground for positive change. The outer world is malleable, shaped by the energy you bring to it. When you change your inner narrative, your actions naturally align with your new beliefs. You begin to carry yourself differently, speak with more confidence, and make decisions that reflect your elevated perception of yourself and the world. This shift in energy attracts circumstances, people, and opportunities that resonate with your new state of being. It is important to remember that perception is not a one-time shift but an ongoing practice. Life will continue to present challenges, and old patterns may resurface. But each moment offers a choice to fall back into limiting narratives or to consciously choose a perspective that empowers you. With practice, choosing the latter becomes second nature. Your perception is the compass that guides your journey. When you align it with the reality you want to create, life begins to unfold in ways that reflect your inner transformation. The world is not fixed, it is a mirror that responds to the way you see it. Shift your inner narrative, and your external world will follow suit. In doing so, you unlock the limitless potential that has always been within you. Fear thrives in the shadows of uncertainty. It whispers, what if you fail? What if you're not good enough? What if things don't go as planned? These questions are like chains, binding you to the familiar, even when the familiar no longer serves you. Yet when you examine fear closely, you see that it is hollow. It is not the event itself that causes fear, but your interpretation of it. The unknown is not inherently dangerous, but your mind fills the void with imagined threats. Fear is a projection, not a reality. To break free from this prison, you must first recognize fear for what it is, a creation of your own mind. It is not an external force imposing itself upon you, it is an internal reaction to something you believe to be true. This realization is powerful because it shifts the locus of control from the external world to within yourself. If fear is created in your mind, it can also be dismantled there. The next step is to confront your fear directly. Avoidance only gives fear more power. When you avoid the things you fear, you reinforce the belief that they are too big, too overwhelming, or too dangerous to face. But when you meet fear head-on, you begin to see it for what it truly is, an illusion. The act of facing your fear, even in small steps, chips away at its foundation. Each time you confront it, you grow stronger, and fear grows weaker. Imagine a situation that frightens you. Perhaps it is speaking in public, pursuing a dream, or making a significant life change. When you look at it through the lens of fear, it feels impossible. But now imagine approaching it with curiosity instead of fear. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? And if it does, can I handle it more often than not? You will find that the worst case scenario is far less catastrophic than your fear would have you believe. And even if challenges arise, you possess the resilience to overcome them. Fear also has a peculiar way of masquerading as logic. It convinces you to stay small under the guise of being realistic. It tells you that risks are too high and that it's safer to stay where you are. But safety and growth cannot coexist. Growth requires stepping into the unknown, taking risks, and trusting that you are capable of navigating whatever comes your way. Fear would have you believe that staying in your comfort zone is the safer choice, but in reality it is the most dangerous. A life confined by fear is a life half-lived. Releasing fear does not mean eradicating it completely. Fear is a natural part of the human experience, and it will arise from time to time. The key is not to let it control you. Instead of resisting fear or pretending it doesn't exist, acknowledge it. Say, I see you, fear, but I will not let you make decisions for me. This simple act of acknowledgement takes away fear's power and allows you to move forward despite its presence. One of the most effective ways to release fear is to shift your focus. Fear thrives when you concentrate on what could go wrong. But when you redirect your attention to what could go right, fear loses its grip. Visualize yourself succeeding. Feel the joy, pride, and freedom that come with stepping into your potential. The more vividly you imagine this, the more real it becomes, and the less room there is for fear. Gratitude is another powerful antidote to fear. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, fear diminishes. Gratitude grounds you in the present moment, reminding you of your strength and the abundance already in your life. Fear, by contrast, is rooted in the future, a future that may never come to pass. By staying anchored in gratitude, you free yourself from the illusion of fear and step into the reality of your present power. Fear is the only prison because it confines you to a version of yourself that is smaller than who you truly are. It keeps you from exploring the vastness of your potential, from taking the risks that lead to growth, and from living a life that feels deeply fulfilling. But you hold the key to this prison. When you release fear, you step into the boundless possibilities that await you. The world opens up not because it has changed, but because you have. You see opportunities where you once saw obstacles, and you move forward with the confidence that comes from knowing you are not bound by limitations. You are limitless, but to experience this truth, you must let go of fear. Do not let it hold you back from the life you are meant to live. The moment you choose to release it, you discover that the freedom you sought was always within you. The present moment is the only point of true power, the only space where creation unfolds. While the mind often wanders to the past with its memories, or to the future with its hopes and fears, the reality is that everything begins and ends in the now. The choices you make in this moment, the thoughts you hold, and the feelings you allow yourself to embrace are the seeds of your future. The life you desire is not waiting for you somewhere out there, it is being created here, in this very moment. Many people live as though the future will rescue them. They think, when I have more money, I'll be happy, or once I meet the right person, my life will improve, but the future is never something you can experience directly. It is always just beyond reach, like the horizon that recedes as you move toward it. What you call the future is simply the present moment that has yet to arrive. The way you meet this moment determines how the next unfolds. The conditions of tomorrow are planted in the soil of today. Your thoughts are powerful creative forces. Every thought carries energy, and this energy is like a blueprint shaping what is to come. A thought of abundance creates the conditions for abundance to flow into your life, while a thought of lack invites scarcity. It may seem subtle, but over time the repetition of these thoughts builds momentum. The mind works like a garden. Whatever seeds you plant and nurture will grow. If you plant seeds of worry, fear, or doubt, you will see a harvest of challenges. But if you plant seeds of faith, joy, and gratitude, you will cultivate a life of fulfillment and peace. Equally important are your feelings. Thoughts and emotions are intimately connected, with one influencing the other in an ongoing cycle. When you feel love, joy, or gratitude in this moment, you align yourself with the energy of your desires. This emotional state is not just a reaction to your environment, it is a signal you send out to the universe. By choosing how you feel now, you become a magnet for experiences that match that energy. For example, if you want a future filled with love, begin by feeling love in this moment, love for yourself, for others, and for life itself. But the present moment is often overlooked. The mind, ever restless, pulls you into the past with its regrets or to the future with its anxieties. This endless tug-of-war keeps you from fully experiencing the power of now. The past cannot be changed, and the future has yet to come. To dwell on either is to waste the creative potential of the present. When you bring your awareness back to this moment, you reclaim your power. Practicing mindfulness is one of the most effective ways to anchor yourself in the now. Mindfulness is the art of being fully present, of noticing what is happening within and around you without judgment. It can be as simple as taking a deep breath and feeling the air fill your lungs, or noticing the sensations in your body as you sit or stand. These small acts of awareness pull you out of the mind's chatter and into the reality of the present. In this space, you can choose your thoughts and emotions consciously rather than letting old patterns dictate them. Gratitude is another key to unlocking the power of the present moment. When you focus on what you have rather than what you lack, you shift your energy. Gratitude grounds you in the now and aligns you with abundance. It is a reminder that you are already supported, already whole, and already capable of creating the future you desire. Begin by finding just one thing to be grateful for in this moment of breath, a heartbeat, or the light of the sun, and let that feeling expand. Visualization also brings the future into the present. When you vividly imagine the life you want, you are not merely daydreaming, you are rehearsing that reality in the present moment. Your mind does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is real. So by immersing yourself in the vision of your desired future, you begin to embody it now. This embodiment, this alignment of thought, emotion, and action sets the wheels of creation in motion. It is essential to remember that the present moment is not about perfection. Challenges will arise and doubts may surface. The goal is not to suppress these experiences, but to meet them with awareness. Even in moments of difficulty, you have the power to choose your response. A single moment of conscious decision can shift the trajectory of your life. Your future is not something distant and separate, it is an extension of this moment. When you realize this, you understand that you are not a victim of circumstance, but a creator of reality. How you think and feel right now is setting the stage for what comes next. Choose to see this moment as full of potential. Choose thoughts that uplift and inspire. Choose feelings that resonate with the life you wish to create. The present moment is a gift. It holds within it the power to transform your life, not through waiting, hoping, or wishing, but through deliberate and conscious creation. By aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the reality you desire, you step into the flow of life. You are no longer chasing the future, you are creating it. All of this begins in the now. Doubt is a thief that sneaks into the mind and quietly dismantles dreams before they even have a chance to take root. It whispers that you are not capable, not worthy, or not ready, creating barriers where none truly exist. While failure is often seen as the great obstacle to success, it is not failure that stops most dreams from being realized, it is doubt. Failure, when it comes, carries with it lessons and opportunities for growth. Doubt, on the other hand, is a silent saboteur, killing dreams before they even take their first breath. It creates a paralysis of action, a fear of trying, and a constant second guessing that drains your energy and focus. Doubt often disguises itself as rationality. It tells you that you're simply being cautious or realistic, but its true purpose is to keep you small, to prevent you from stepping into the unknown. This is because doubt thrives on uncertainty, feeding on your fears of what might go wrong. But the truth is, nothing great has ever been achieved without a willingness to face uncertainty. Every breakthrough, every invention, every act of courage began with someone who chose to believe in possibility rather than be consumed by doubt. To understand the power of doubt, you must also understand its opposite, faith. Faith is not blind optimism or wishful thinking. It is a deep inner knowing, a trust in the unseen, and a belief in your ability to create and achieve. Faith does not require proof, it is the proof itself. When you replace doubt with faith, you open yourself to a world of possibilities. You stop fixating on what could go wrong and start focusing on what could go right. This shift in perspective is transformative because your energy flows where your attention goes. By choosing faith, you align yourself with your desires rather than your fears. The key to overcoming doubt is not to suppress it or pretend it doesn't exist. Instead, it is to confront it with awareness and understanding. Doubt arises when you allow your mind to dwell on uncertainty and negativity. It grows when you replay past failures or imagine worst-case scenarios. But when you bring your attention back to the present moment and to the vision of what you want to achieve, doubt loses its power. You cannot eliminate doubt entirely, but you can choose not to let it dictate your actions. One way to counter doubt is to take action, even if it's small and imperfect. Doubt often convinces you that you need to have everything figured out before you begin. It tells you that you need more knowledge, more resources, or more time. But the truth is, clarity comes through action, not before it. Every step you take, no matter how small, builds momentum and chips away at doubt. With each step, you gain confidence, not because doubt disappears, but because you prove to yourself that you are capable of moving forward despite it. Another way to replace doubt with faith is to visualize the outcome you desire. When you vividly imagine yourself succeeding, your mind begins to accept it as a possibility. This is not just a mental exercise, it is a powerful tool for shifting your energy. Visualization helps you align with the feeling of already having achieved your goal, which in turn attracts the people, opportunities, and circumstances needed to bring it to life. When doubt arises, return to this vision. Let it serve as your anchor, reminding you of what is possible. Gratitude is another antidote to doubt. When you focus on what you already have and what is already working in your life, you shift your perspective from lack to abundance. Doubt thrives on a sense of inadequacy, but gratitude reminds you of your strengths, your achievements, and the support around you. It grounds you in the present moment, where you are most powerful, and reinforces the belief that you are capable of creating even more to be grateful for. It is also important to recognize that doubt often mirrors your deeper fears of failure, rejection, or unworthiness. By addressing these fears directly, you can begin to dismantle the foundation on which doubt stands. Ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen if I try and fail? Can I handle it more often than not? The answers reveal that the risks are far smaller than doubt would have you believe. And even when challenges arise, they are not the end, they are part of the journey. Faith requires courage. It asks you to trust in yourself, in your vision, and in the unseen forces that support you. It does not guarantee that every step will be easy, but it assures you that every step is worth taking. Doubt may persist, but it does not have to define you. You have the power to choose faith over fear, belief over uncertainty, and action over hesitation. Remember, doubt kills more dreams than failure ever could because doubt stops you from even trying. Failure, on the other hand, is a stepping stone, a teacher, and often a necessary part of the path to success. When you release doubt and embrace faith, you step into your full power. You begin to see challenges as opportunities and setbacks as redirections. You realize that the only thing standing between you and your dreams is your willingness to believe in them and in yourself. The moment you choose faith, the silent saboteur of doubt begins to fade, and your dreams become not just possible, but inevitable. You are the operant power in your own life, the sole architect of your experiences. Everything you see, everything you encounter, is a reflection of the thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions you hold. The power to change your circumstances, to reshape your reality, does not lie outside of you, it resides within. This truth is both liberating and humbling, for it places the full responsibility for your life in your own hands. It means that you are not at the mercy of external forces, luck, or other people's actions. Instead, you are the cause of everything that unfolds, and as the cause, you hold the power to create change. Many people go through life believing they are victims of circumstance. They look to the world around them and see limitations, obstacles, and challenges as fixed realities that dictate what is possible for them. They say, if only I had more time, more money, or more support, then I could achieve my goals. They wait for the conditions to change before taking action, never realizing that the power to alter those conditions lies within them. The truth is that the external world is not fixed, it is malleable, shaped by the energy and beliefs you bring to it. Your thoughts are the building blocks of your reality. Every thought you entertain, whether fleeting or sustained, carries with it a vibrational energy that influences your experiences. Positive, empowering thoughts create conditions of growth and success, while negative, self-defeating thoughts perpetuate struggle and limitation. But it is not enough to think positively on the surface while harboring doubts and fears underneath. The true power lies in your ability to align your entire being, your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with the reality you wish to create. This alignment activates the creative power within you and sets in motion the forces necessary to manifest your desires. The key to wielding this power is awareness. You must become conscious of the patterns of thought and belief that shape your life. This requires introspection and honesty, as it often means confronting the limiting beliefs you have accepted as truth. These beliefs may have been instilled in you by society, family, or past experiences, but they are not absolute. You have the power to question them, to release them, and to replace them with beliefs that serve your highest good. When you take full ownership of your inner world, you reclaim your role as the operant power. It is important to understand that circumstances do not define you. They are merely the outward expressions of your inner state. If you see lack, failure, or limitation in your life, it is not because the world is against you. It is because on some level, you have accepted those conditions as part of your reality. This is not to place blame, but to empower you to recognize that change begins with you. The moment you decide to shift your perspective, the moment you choose to see yourself as abundant, capable, and deserving, the outer world begins to reflect that shift. Action is an essential part of this process. But it is not action alone that creates change. It is inspired action that flows from a place of belief and alignment that carries the greatest power. When you act from a place of fear, doubt, or desperation, your efforts are often met with resistance because they are not aligned with the energy of your desires. But when you act from a place of confidence, trust, and knowing, the path forward unfolds with ease. This is the difference between forcing and allowing, between striving and creating. Faith is your anchor as you step into the role of the operant power. Faith is the quiet certainty that your desires are already fulfilled, even when the evidence around you suggests otherwise. It is the unwavering belief in your ability to create, no matter the circumstances. Faith sustains you in moments of doubt and keeps you aligned with the vision of your desired reality. It is not blind, it is rooted in the understanding that the power to shape your life lies within you. The external world may present challenges, but these challenges are not there to defeat you. They are opportunities for growth, reflections of the areas where your beliefs and actions need to come into greater alignment. When you encounter resistance, do not see it as a sign of failure. Instead, see it as a chance to refine your focus and strengthen your faith. The power within you is limitless, but it requires your conscious direction to fully activate. To embrace your role as the operant power is to take full responsibility for your life. It means releasing the need to blame external factors for your struggles and recognizing that you have the ability to create something different. It means stepping out of the role of victim and into the role of creator. It means trusting in your power even when the path ahead seems uncertain. The force to change your circumstances lies within you, and nothing external can limit it unless you allow it to. Own this truth, and you will discover that you are not just a participant in life, you are its author. The world is not happening to you, it is responding to you. When you fully embrace this understanding, you step into a realm of limitless possibilities, where your desires are not dreams deferred but realities waiting to be claimed. You are the operant power. Own it and watch your world transform. Stop waiting for permission, for no one outside of you holds the key to your success. The authority you seek is already within you, yet so many spend their lives waiting for validation, approval, or some external sign that it's the right time to act. This waiting creates stagnation, a life lived on pause, as if the fullness of your potential hinges on someone else's acknowledgement. But the truth is, the power to move forward, to create, and to achieve lies entirely within your hands. You are the only one who can unlock the door to your dreams. Why do so many of us feel the need for permission? It is often rooted in fear of rejection, failure, or judgment. We seek the approval of others to shield us from these fears, believing that their endorsement will guarantee success, or at the very least, soften the blow of possible failure. But the reality is that no amount of external approval can eliminate risk, nor can it ensure the outcome you desire. All it does is delay the inevitable truth. The only permission that matters is the one you grant yourself. Waiting for permission often comes disguised as patience or preparation. You tell yourself that you're waiting for the right moment, the perfect opportunity, or the ideal conditions. But deep down, this waiting is often just an excuse to avoid stepping into the unknown. The right moment rarely arrives because the right moment is not something you wait for, it is something you create. Action, not waiting, is what sets things in motion. And action begins with the decision to move forward without waiting for anyone to say, "Now you're ready." The world is filled with examples of people who succeeded not because they were granted permission, but because they chose to act despite the lack of it. They didn't wait for someone to tell them they were good enough or that their ideas were worthy. They took bold steps, trusting in their vision and their ability to figure things out along the way. This is the mindset you must adopt if you wish to break free from the cycle of waiting. You must recognize that you are the authority in your own life, the one who determines your worth and your readiness. Granting yourself permission begins with a shift in perspective. It requires you to stop looking outside of yourself for validation and start looking within. Ask yourself, what do I want? What am I capable of? What is holding me back? Often you'll find that the only thing truly standing in your way is your own hesitation, fueled by a belief that you need something outside of yourself to move forward. But this belief is a lie. The moment you decide to act, you prove to yourself that you are capable, and with each step, your confidence grows. Fear will always be present when you step into the unknown, but fear is not a reason to hold back. It is a signal that you are moving beyond your comfort zone, into a space where growth and possibility reside. Waiting for permission will not eliminate this fear, it will only prolong it. The only way to overcome fear is to face it, to take action despite it, and to show yourself that you are stronger than the doubts that try to hold you back. One of the most liberating truths you can embrace is that you do not need to have everything figured out to begin. Perfection is not a prerequisite for action. Waiting until you feel completely ready is another form of seeking permission, a way of delaying the inevitable leap. The truth is, readiness comes through action. As you take steps, you learn, you adapt, and you grow. The path becomes clearer as you walk it, but you must first take that initial step without waiting for anyone to push you forward. You'll understand that not everyone will approve of your decisions or support your vision, and that's okay. You are not living your life to meet the expectations of others. Your dreams are yours for a reason, and they don't need to make sense to anyone but you. By waiting for others to validate your path, you give away your power. By granting yourself permission, you reclaim it. You take ownership of your life and your choices, knowing that your success is not dependent on the opinions or approval of others. To stop waiting for permission is to step into your power. It is to recognize that you are the creator of your reality, the one who decides what is possible for you. It is to trust in your ability to navigate challenges and to learn from setbacks. It is to believe in your vision, even when the world around you offers no guarantees. When you stop waiting and start acting, you shift from a state of passivity to one of creation. You move from being a spectator in your own life to being the driving force behind it. The authority you seek has always been yours. It does not come from a title, a degree, or someone else's approval. It comes from within, from the decision to own your potential and step boldly into the life you desire. Give yourself the permission you've been waiting for, and you'll discover that the only thing standing between you and your dreams was the belief that you needed someone else's approval. In truth, you never did. The power has always been yours. Take it and move forward without hesitation. Imagination is the gateway to transformation, the bridge between the seen and the unseen, the key that unlocks the infinite potential of your life. Your mind is not a passive observer of reality, but an active creator shaping the world around you through the images, feelings, and beliefs you hold within. Everything you experience begins first as a thought, a vision, or a feeling in the mind. This is the workshop of creation, where possibilities are born and where transformation begins. What you vividly imagine and embrace as real in your inner world inevitably manifests in your external reality. Imagination is not a frivolous daydream or a meaningless escape. It is the most powerful tool you possess for change and growth. Through imagination, you can step beyond the confines of your current circumstances and see a new reality, one that is not limited by past experiences or present conditions. When you engage your imagination with intention, you tap into a creative force that knows no boundaries. This force does not care about the how or the why of your desires. It simply responds to the images and emotions you impress upon it, bringing them into existence in ways you may not have anticipated. Many people underestimate the power of imagination because they associate it with fantasy, something separate from reality. Yet the truth is that imagination is the foundation of all reality. Every invention, every work of art, every great achievement began as a thought in someone's mind. Before it was tangible, it was imagined. The chair you sit on, the device you use to read these words, even the building you live in, all were once ideas, vividly imagined and brought into being through belief and action. Your own life is no different. What you vividly imagine and feel deeply, you create. The key to harnessing the transformative power of imagination lies in your ability to engage it with conviction. It is not enough to passively think about what you want, you must embody it. Feel it as though it is already real. When you imagine a desired outcome with clarity and emotion, your mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. The feelings you generate in your imagination set off a chain reaction in your subconscious mind, aligning your thoughts, actions, and external circumstances with the vision you hold. This is why it is so important to cultivate a clear and positive inner vision. Your imagination is always at work, whether you realize it or not, and it will create whatever you focus on most, whether that focus is on abundance or lack, joy or struggle. Imagination is also the tool that allows you to transcend the limitations of the present moment. No matter where you find yourself, no matter how challenging your circumstances may appear, you can use your imagination to see beyond them and create a new reality. You are not bound by the constraints of the material world. Your true power lies in your ability to envision something greater. When you consistently imagine yourself living the life you desire, you begin to shift your inner state, and that shift inevitably reflects in your outer world. The transformation starts within, but it does not stay there. It ripples outward, affecting every area of your life. The process of using imagination as a gateway to transformation requires trust and persistence. It is not always easy to hold on to a vision when the evidence around you seems to contradict it. Doubt may creep in, tempting you to abandon your imagination and accept the status quo. But this is the test of your belief. The moment when you must choose to trust in the unseen. Remember, the physical world is not fixed, it is fluid and responsive to the energy you bring to it. When you persist in imagining and feeling your desired reality as true, you give it the time and space to unfold. One of the most powerful aspects of imagination is its ability to change not only your external circumstances but also your inner self. As you imagine yourself as the person you wish to be, confident, successful, joyful, you begin to embody those qualities in the present moment. Your self-concept shifts, and with it, your actions and decisions align with the version of you that you are creating. This is the essence of transformation, not merely changing what you have, but changing who you are. When you become the person who naturally lives the life you desire, that life flows to you effortlessly. Imagination also opens the door to possibilities you may not have considered. It allows you to step beyond the logical mind, which is often limited by past experiences and societal conditioning, and tap into a realm of infinite creativity. Solutions to problems, ideas for growth, and paths to success often come to you when you allow your imagination to roam freely. This is why it is so important to nurture your imagination, to give yourself permission to dream boldly and without restriction. The more vividly and expansively you imagine, the more expansive your reality becomes. Your imagination is the most valuable tool you have for creating a life of fulfillment and purpose. It is the gateway to transformation, the means by which you turn desire into reality. Whatever you vividly imagine and feel as real is not merely a possibility, it is a certainty, waiting to be claimed. Embrace the power of your imagination, and you will discover that the life you dream of is not something to be pursued, it is something to be created, moment by moment, from within. In conclusion, the power to transform your life lies entirely within you. Your imagination is the gateway to creation. Your thoughts shape your reality, and your feelings bring those visions to life. When you let go of doubt, embrace faith, and recognize your role as the operant power, you unlock infinite potential. You do not need to wait for permission, fear external circumstances, or be bound by the limitations of the present. Instead, step boldly into the creative force within, trusting that what you vividly imagine and feel as real will manifest in your world. Your future is built in the present moment through your beliefs, your focus, and your willingness to act with conviction. Do not let fear, doubt, or the opinions of others hold you back. Own your power, grant yourself permission, and move forward with unwavering faith in your ability to create a life of purpose, abundance, and joy. Thank you for allowing these words to resonate within you. May they serve as a reminder of the immense power you hold and inspire you to step into the fullness of who you are.